Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you let me know if this is working at all? Well, something looks like it might be happening. Potrix has correctly joined the channel. That's a good start. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Sorry I'm late. A mad day this has been. I was stuck out taxi dadding. You can hear me and see me. Good stuff. Who have we got? Well, look, Barnsey, how you doing, mate? You alright? Steve-O? How's things, you right, bud? Kirsty? Have you got your charger? Laz? Alright, mate, how you doing? Enjoyed your stream the other day. Very, very chilled yet again. Mandy, what time do I call this? I call this having a daughter time. Thank you very much. She's very kindly made sure she was out for a lift before the stream, but I had to go to Tesco as well. And I'm absolutely shattered as well. A bit laggy. Is that the stream or me? Could be either, couldn't it? I was messing around with OBS, so I apologise if that's something that's happened. But we'll get there eventually. How are we all doing? Are we managing to get through, well, I was going to say Storm Isha. Storm Isha pissed off to be replaced by Storm Jocelyn, which is just as bad. In fact, for the last 3 nights, I've barely slept because of the amount of noise from Isha and Jocelyn, which sounds far more interesting than it actually is. But there we go. That there is the front window. That's the front of the house. That behind me, there's the side gate and the little path that goes through to the garden. And the amount of noise that is coming through there of a night is ridiculous. It feels like the entire house is going to fall apart, but it's not, obviously. That's been keeping me awake. So I closed my eyes for 5 minutes early on and fell asleep for about 40 minutes. Absolutely exhausted. But I'll be right. Things will be sound. We'll get there. I think. Casper, storm's been keeping you awake as well. Saf, all well on the southern hemisphere. That's what we like to see. Fantastic stuff. Mandy, there's no such a thing as the wrong hat. There's the wrong conditions. Steve, I did not wedge me panels. Neither did I panel me wedge. It's something that hopefully I'll try and get out and do while it's a bit calmer. But without them banging around all bloody night, just the sound of the wind has been terrible. Very, very loud. And I normally sleep or go to sleep with sort of earphones in with white noise, the sound of a car driving. So I'm used to having a bit of noise in the background, but just so loud. Rain coming off the window as well. Insane. Not insane in the membrane, but just insane. Day for naps as well. You've enjoyed 2 yourself today, lads. Fantastic. Do you know what? They're so underrated, naps, aren't they? I never knew the joy of a nap. And much needed when you get up at about 5:30 in the morning. I think I had a bit of not a nap, but I closed my eyes on the sofa this morning. Just listening to Talking Pictures TV, some 1930s film. That was nice to relax to. Yeah, just exhausted, man. I'm off on Tuesday, thankfully. But I'm taking the car in for the service, so I'm expecting to have my liver and kidney taken out to pay for that. As the saying goes, there's nothing more expensive than a cheap Mercedes. You're playing Guess the Hat, it's defo the wrong hat. What did you guess? I missed that one. Goedenavond, Hadwig. Hoe gaat het met je? Is a beanie technically a hat? I would say so. When you're cold and you need a hat and someone hands you a beanie, you're putting it on. A head sock. Could be a head sock. It's nice, this one. I like this. Much needed when I went out earlier as well. As it's not overly cold, but it's still rough as arseholes out there. Which is not great. The hand exercises haven't been going great this week because I have been absolutely exhausted. So I've managed a little bit, but not as much as I should have done. But I have sort of days and weeks like that. I haven't hit me walking target at all. My steps target for over a week. I haven't even come close because I've just been far too tired. I need a day off. I need the weekend to arrive as quickly as possible. This is part of the problem of being fatigued anyway and then doing a full-time job and trying to fit in a million things around it. It's not always good. Can't always manage it. Can't always manage it. What am I talking about? I can never bloody manage it. But I keep on trying. Everyone's guess was wrong. That's what happens when you've got too many hats. I must start planning this, aren't I? Or start buying new ones. For someone who never really wore hats apart from beanies in the past, I do have a stupid collection of them now. Mandy, do I think not doing OT has affected my exercising? It has, definitely. I'm still trying to do the same kind of quality. But I don't know, maybe I needed pushing a bit more. Saying that. Yeah. I think I've explained to the OT when I was going through that, if I was feeling too tired, she would take it easy on me because she knew the quality wasn't there. So I have to be really careful. Can you have too many cats or hats? 8 out of 10 hats? I don't think you can. Yeah, it is a very fine line. I wouldn't say it was fashion either, Barnsey. It's just cold head, warm hat, as the phrase goes. Trying is definitely the title of any autobiography. Certainly would be one of mine. In fact, I think that the title of my autobiography would be Go Ahead, I'll Do It, which seems to be a bit of a theme in my life. Work especially. No one wants to do anything. So go ahead, I'll do it. Just to stop other people getting wound up or annoyed. But, you know, Mr. Ben had too many hats. Mr. Ben was an absolute knob as well. I hate Mr. Ben. What was the phrase? He went through the back to the changing room where sometimes adventure used to happen or whatever it was. Adventure always used to happen. I don't think Mr. Ben had adventures. I think Mr. Ben had ecstasy trips. A couple of Mitsubishis and didn't know where he fucking was. Yep. Only the shopkeeper had a fez. As if by magic the shopkeeper appeared. Hats are like minis, never have too many. I would agree 100%. Although my hats don't look anywhere near as good as your minis, mate. Genuinely. Yeah, Mr. Ben rather on an LSD bender. Now he said, watch that. In fact, I think most of 70s and 80s kids' TV was made by people on LSD. Do you ever remember a programme, I think it was called What a Mess? What a Mess and Tidy Up. I was watching one, it was one of those ones where the cartoon's all squiggly and moves constantly. I thought, this is a bit weird. And then down the bottom of the screen, just barely noticeable, there was a little mouse in a striped jersey with a mask and a swag bag over his shoulder, being followed by a little policeman mouse. And the little policeman mouse got a truncheon and started battering shit out the little robber mouse. I thought, why was that in there? Why? But I like it, so I carried on watching it. I don't know if you wouldn't mind becoming an old crazy cat lady. It's something to aspire to. Oh man, I think English is my second language today, isn't it? All the old kids' programmes are written while stoned. I would definitely agree. Jamie and his magic torch. What? Kirsty, nearly all of your habits are top hats. There's a reason why you have a 720p camera. I wish you had told me that before I got this stupid bloody thing. What a Mess and Tidy Up was awesome. It was crazy, but very interesting. Already got the old and crazy. Not at all. Anyone watch Morph as an adult? That is another one that was a bit odd. As was Chorlton and the Wheelies, which I loved. Hello, little old lady. Yeah, don't think the big bad eye said no. It is all a bit mad. All of that 70s and 80s stuff was off its head. I suppose to get into the mind of a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old kid, you need to be off your head anyway, wouldn't you? Anyone seen John Dillerman? That's a very weird cartoon. I've not seen that, Casper. But I like weird cartoons, so it's something I have to look at, really, isn't it? I'm going to have to check that out. Now, you see, Barnsley, that would explain a lot. The shopkeeper ended up in Marrakesh, that's why he had the fez. And that's why things went a little bit weird at times in that shop. They were smoking a hookah out the back. I don't mean killing a prostitute. Yeah, we want to see pics of the hats. All the top hats. Yeah, Gen X, we are so messed up, but also there's only us, Keith Richards and cockroaches that will survive a nuclear explosion. While all the millennials, Gen Zs, whatever you want to call them, millennials and Gen Zs, won't have a clue what to do. Just been talking to my daughter. She went, my niece picked her up earlier on to go and drop some food off for a local takeaway. So they could do the maths between them. You can't do maths between you. If it's £8.40, they're going to give you a tenner or 20 quid, aren't they? You can do this in advance on the way there. It's not going to be that difficult. Couldn't work out the change. So we could, because we were taught maths and counting at school. Magic Roundabout was written after a trip, or during, more likely. But a bit more interesting, aren't they? The old stuff. I think, anyway. What, the guys who lived on the moon? The whistle noises, they were the clangers, yep. With the wonderful Oliver Postgate doing the narration. What a voice he had. Kirsty, you're off. No worries. Your mate rang. Enjoy. No getting involved in fights and breaking feet and things like that. You can't find any clips of Michael Bentine's Invisible Army. Maybe they're there, but you just can't see them. It's like I used to have a camouflage jacket, but it fell off the line in the back garden. I've not seen it since. Oh. worth a dad joke, that one, wasn't it? There's 2 people to do the maths. There was 3 of them. And I actually said, have you got a phone? Well, yeah, we've all got phones. Well, there's a calculator on there. We can't get a calculator out in front of the customer. Whereas the 3 of you are all doing this. That looks dead professional, doesn't it? Half-wits. How is Joust doing without his balls? I'll field this one. Not as well as he was doing with them, I think we can say. It's funny that you mentioned Joust balls and then the clangers are just underneath. Very, very fitting. Yeah, is he feeling any better? Is he getting there? It was a banger of a dad joke. I'm pretty good at the old dad joke. I haven't done any for ages because my daughter doesn't come round that often anymore. When she does, it's normally to borrow vinyl. Take vinyl with her. So there's less dad jokes and more Smith's talk. Oh, that was good the other day as well. I picked her and a mate up from college to take them home. And Oasis came on the one of my Spotify playlists. So they all started buzzing off that. Talking about the favourite music. And one of the girls went, I love the Stone Roses. So of course I went, I was at Spike Island in 1990. Which I think blew her mind slightly. Her and her boyfriend are obsessed with it. They watched the film, Spike Island, about those kids in Manchester who wanted to go and see the gig. And then all of a sudden I'm saying, oh yeah, I was there. An 8-hour all-day session with Frankie Bones from Brooklyn, New York as a DJ and a band with 3 bass players playing. Yeah. I thought it was going to be something big at the time. It felt like it was something big. 30,000 people underneath the Runcorn Bridge, all absolutely off the tits, listening to loads of music. But I didn't realise later on, years later on, there'd be a feature film made about it. And the Gallaghers were there. My wall hanging is wonky. It is. I'm not changing it now though. Also, that light up there, my rim light, that fell down earlier because I caught it on the bottom of me kecks. It's got one of those little screwball doobles on the bottom of it, a little Velcro tag on the bottom of it so I can stick it to things, and stuck to the bottom of me kecks. Fell straight over. Which wouldn't have been a problem because I've got about 27 other lights I could have used instead. Obviously, because I'm obsessed with lights. Because I'm a fucking half-wit. No, we're definitely not married. Otherwise, I'd have remembered the cake. I'm sure the cake would have been better. You never forget cake, do you? Wedding cake. 3 bass players, half man, half biscuit. My dad knows them, half man, half biscuit. When he used to play for Tranmere, they were in the players' lounge all the time. Great band, them. All I want for Christmas is a Dukla Prague away kit. Didn't we all? Didn't we all? I will amend the wall hanging at some point, but nah, that would mean actually getting up. If we were, it wouldn't be wonky. Mandy, do you want to rephrase that, please? Or it'd be solid, straight like that, yeah. Knitted cake. Now you're talking. There's an idea. Knitted cake would still taste better than me Mars cooking. I'll tell you that for nothing. I am slightly lightheaded. It's that one. That's the fucker there, right in front of me. It looks like that looks more like the moon than that thing at the back does. His wires would look like ivy. That sounds like I can hear that in me head in a New York voice. Like, grab a cup of coffee. We'll have a talk. Your wires will look like ivy. They had a great band that no one knows about. We all did in Liverpool as kids at the age of like 14, 15, back in the early to mid 80s. Just because they were really local. They're only from Birkenhead. Whereas you talk to someone from outside the city or outside Merseyside, very few people knew who they were. And it's strange. one that flew under the radar, but the people who like them really, really like them, speak very highly of them. Plus, how can you not love a band that did a song about football, which has the phrase in it, you can't put your foot up in Europe, you can't raise your studs on the Nent. They take a dim view of a slightly raised shoe, so watch out if you're up against Ghent. I mean, it's poetry, man, it's absolute poetry. Lighting is the bane of any stream, it is, but I'm obsessed with it. I mean, absolutely obsessed with it. To the point where I've got mad shizzle like this, which is a little bit borderline lightsaber. All them behind me, there's two up there. There's, what else? Oh no, I was going to try and sort out for you, but no. Another moon. Got a couple more of these rim lights. And little tiny rim lights that I can stick on the pole that's up here as well. Stupid. It's only for arsing around doing little streams and videos, and yet I've got thousands upon thousands of pounds worth of gear. Never cost me thousands of pounds, obviously. Lots of it was eBay. Second hand. I've got 2 cameras, proper cameras, and I've got a third one arriving because I'm starting to get proper obsessed with that. And don't forget, once you do get monetised and you start earning over £1,000 a year, you can register for self-employment and claim all those back as tax, of course. The Referee's Alphabet is a fun song. It's brilliant as well. And of course, it contains Romeo Zondervan. The name of Zondervan, who's an ex-FC20 footballer. Which is a strange thing, really, because my dad obviously played for FC20 over in the Netherlands, and Half Man Half Biscuit ended up doing a song called The Ordinary to Enschede. And they mentioned Romeo Zondervan, who played for him as well. Very good Dutch player, ended up playing for Ipswich. Whisper that one quietly, eh, Steve? You got 2 and a string of fairy lights, yeah. I probably could do with that rather than what I've got here. I've got I've got loads of smart lights as well around the house that I can just mess around with. I need to stop buying stuff. I'm just far too obsessed. I've got gear acquisition syndrome. Mandy's sitting there twitching with rage. It's not a lightsaber. It's a practical light for in the background. It was stuck on that, but it wasn't powerful enough to light the back of me, which is why I'm still using the red one on that side and this blue one on this side. Draws me out of my background, you know what I mean? Yeah, footy talk already. Sorry, Mandy, footy talk already. I do apologise. It'll be cars next. Yeah, might be, but I haven't got a warning for that yet. It's on my phone, but it's not on OBS. Unfortunatamente. You can't avoid football talk. You've got a load of British men in the chat. It's weather, beer and football. Oh, speaking of football, the Afterbirth are playing tonight, aren't they? Thankfully avoiding that. Oh, Norwich are playing as well. Didn't see that. Against dirty Leeds. I was late chatting about football. You have to remember as well, my life has been sort of steered by football. The places I lived were as a direct result of football. The languages I speak are because of football. My experiences are because of football, thankfully. They've led me to where I've been to. So I'm very thankful for them, but I'm absolutely baked into that sport. Louise, how you doing? Nice to see you. Afterbirth, I'm a blue. The Afterbirth are red, of course. And the one great thing is they love Anfield, their home stadium, and it used to be Everton Stadium, and we won the league there before they even existed. So no matter what they do with that stadium, we'll be the first team to win the league there, not them. And we're on our third stadium, building our third stadium within the city, while they haven't built a single one yet. Proper Afterbirth. Feyenoord is leading 1-0 against PSV. Good. Not a fan of PSV at all. Do not like them. Yep, South Africa qualify for the knockout rounds of AFCON. Good stuff. Fingers crossed they go on and win it. Especially if they stop Egypt from winning it. Can't be arsed with that king mouse shite that them lot across the park come up with. For that diving little gimp. Stolen title wins now. Not an issue with that yet. But you never know. These things will happen fairly soon. When I say fairly soon, of course, I do mean in about 25 years' time. Whereas Everton, they just decided to change everything halfway through the investigation. And then they're going to take more points off us for issues within the same accounting period. Bizarre. Well, I think they've took on the wrong set of fans anyway, because we're not willing to sit back and take it on chin. Not a chance. Stormy outside, Casper, is it? It's actually really still here at the moment, which means hopefully I might get a decent night's sleep for the first time in the last 6 months, what it feels like anyway. Not a gusher wind there, so hopefully that means that that particular little bit of a storm front has gone, and fairly soon you'll have the same thing, Casper. When I live stream, South Africa don't lose when they play. Oh, in that case I should be streaming every night of the week, shouldn't I, to make sure that you win the tournament? Someone couldn't stand the Saudi heat, yes. I always loved that, the fact that the Liverpool fans absolutely adored Jordan Henderson, despite the fact that he's a Sunderland lad who supported Man United as a kid. Like, your captain is a Man United fan. In the same way that United fans used to sing Rooney, 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 followed by You Scouse Bastard, to someone like Gylfi Sigurdsson who's from Iceland, you know. Football fans never make any sense, do they? Manchester is a City United. Very nice. United by hatred of each other. Calm right down over there, Steve. Good. It's been stupid the last couple of days. It's been really, really stupid. People dying and all kinds over here. Tornado winds. Never used to be like this. You used to have occasional, it'd be like a one bad night, which would stand out, and now we're on our 58th storm of the week. Ridiculous. Wheelie bins going missing all the time. Trees coming down. Well, it looks alright out there now. The recycling's out. So hopefully it calms down before that goes. Can't be arsed with that many wine bottles all over the street again. Non-alcoholic, obviously. I will. Next time your game is on, let me know and I'll jump straight on a stream. Either way, you can't lose to the Red Scousers. They're not Scousers, lads, as you will find if you speak to any of them. They're all Norwegian or Irish. Or from Kent. Very few of them, when you see them getting interviewed outside the ground, have got any kind of northern accent, never mind a Scouse one. The wind wrecked your rose guard. Is that a euphemism, Mandy? Yep, United are in Trafford, where the name Old Trafford comes from, which is a very strange thing as well to see. Because the cricket ground is Old Trafford, as is the football ground. Right next to Salford, which is where I've had to go a few times for work. That Salford accent is a bit of an interesting one. Work with quite a few people from Salford, and some of them, there's a slight sort of Scouseness to it, which you don't get with other Manc accents, Greater Manchester accents rather. There's definitely a sort of Scouse twang to bits of Salford, which is very odd. Not as odd as St Helens, obviously, or St Helens if you're from there, where you can have 4 people in a family, 4 brothers. One's Liverpool, one's Everton, one's United, one's City. Half speak with a Manc accent, half speak with a Scouse accent. It is bizarre. Very, very strange town, that's in St Helens. But wonderful pies. Pimlick's pies. Should be trying to get them, shouldn't I, really? Get them to advertise the stream. Although I'd lose everyone in Wigan if I did that, having Pimlick's pies. Did the Rose Guard work? Did it? Yeah, Oasis had a problem with the concert when everyone went to the wrong Old Trafford. That wouldn't surprise me. These things happen all the time. So I went to Coventry in 1988, I think it was, to watch Everton in what was before the Premier League. It was the old Division 1. When we got there, asked some local, you know, how to get to Coventry's ground, and he told us. And then when we got there, it was Coventry United rather than Coventry City, this non-league team. The absolute fucking half-wit. That was a rough place, that. Highfield Road. Eek. Alright, so it stops football's breaking the branches of the rose bush. That's what we like to say then. It works. And Saf, your team will be back in the Premier League at some point. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Fantastic team, Sheffield Wednesday. Lads, you go to Salford every 2 weeks. It is a trek and a half. It's a strange place, Salford. I had to go there as well years ago with a little bit of other work that I was doing, delivering electricals. There was a place in Salford, and it didn't matter what time of the day or night I went there, or sort of day or evening. It was always absolutely heaving. Chocker everywhere, the roads were busy. Just mad. Never went there once when it was fairly quiet. It started as Newton Heath, but they downgraded. Jason Manford, yeah, from Salford, as you can tell by his accent as well. Johnny Vegas from St Helens. Michael Pennington, to give him his proper name, yep. And he absolutely loves his rugby league, does Johnny. Ale and Rugby League. Can't wait for that to start again. I think it's February that kicks in. Yeah, man, they stop kicking footies into it, lah. Losing Wigan, is that a big loss? I like Wigan. That's another place I don't mind. Although they don't really like us from Liverpool at all for some strange reason. But I've got quite a few mates from Wigan. Slightly odd place to be stuck at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning or waiting for a train. I had to go there from... I don't live that far away from Wigan, to be honest with you. It's only about 10 miles away or something stupid. Maybe a little bit longer. I had to go all the way into Liverpool first and then all the way back up. Change at Wigan, when I could have just gone straight there and met me bosses. Freezing, bleeding cold. And off we went to Glasgow in December. What a glorious couple of days that was. Ended up in King Tut's Wawa hut. There's always confusion with Bristol as well, where you've got Bristol City and Bristol Rovers. Ashton Gate for Bristol City are Bristol Rovers. Are they still at the Memorial Ground? I know they moved around loads, didn't they, because of going bust. Bernard Manning, better than both. Can't say I'm a fan of Bernard Manning, to be honest. But then again, who am I to talk? My dad's mates with Chubby Brown. A similar kind of thing, I suppose, isn't it? Mandy, don't be kicking balls. Do not start. Poor old Joust just winced. Would it be Cheetah Mill where you once got spooked by the guy in the car pointing out all the local murder spots? I would think so. The Cheetah Mill gang, quite famous, aren't they? Yeah, that reminds me of going to Belfast for the first time. Gorgeous place. Beautiful trip in on the bus from Belfast International. I've mentioned this before on here, haven't I? Got off at the bus station, walked out and thought, this feels fantastic. It feels really comfortable. Feels like being at home. And then someone went, like, that's where your office is. Right opposite there, the Europa Hotel. That's the most bombed hotel in Europe. Well, thank you very much. I've just been off the bus for about 5 minutes and my arse has gone already. King Tut's Wawa hut. It's not a euphemism. That is, it's a very good music venue in Glasgow, where many a famous band has played, and many an unfamous band have played. Chubby and Bernard, yeah, 2 peas in a pod. Chubbs, though, it's very, very strange. He is one of the most polite and well-spoken people you'd ever meet in real life. He was doing a little bit of comedy and it wasn't working well for him, and he saw his arse and then went, oh, fuck this, and started going off on one. And the people who was at the gig started buzzing off and thought it was fantastic. So the foul-mouthed Chubby that we know was born just because his clean act wasn't working well. And he's kept it up, and it is an act. He's not like that in real life. He used to come in the pub all the time, every time he played the Southport Theatre. Just bouncing the pub, and he's a massive lad as well. Like, tall, huge. Walking with a straw fedora. Oh, that fella looks just like Chubby Brown. Next thing you know, him in the background to me dad. Ah, fuck off, Ash. It's him. Cheetah Mill's alright. Try Glodick instead. So Fear Factory at the Wawa Hut. It's a boss place, isn't it? I like Glasgow. I didn't realise that it's like San Francisco until I went there. You know, just think, oh, it's just up the road. It can't be any different to Southport or to Liverpool. And holy shit, every time you're walking up a street, it's a gradient like that, and then you get to the top of it and there's another street going down that way. It's like, what on earth is this? But our bosses made us go there for a team meeting with people from all over the UK. And then because we were there for 2 nights, we'll have our Christmas night out as well. What a fantastic idea that was. Really enjoyed that. I need to go back to Scotland and go further in Glasgow this time, I think. Looked marvellous. Yeah, was it a walking tour? I know there's parts of Liverpool that are a bit like that. And Kirkdale's a bit like that as well. And the kids, little bastard kids, you'd go to the match and they'd have drawn body outlines on the street in chalk as a piss take. So that's not really welcoming to away fans, is it? Obviously, British police don't do chalk outlines that the Americans used to do, but they draw on them anyway. It looks bizarre, quite funny, but evil little sods. That's before they start getting on the back of trails bikes with Uzis. You were going shopping in the city, Louise. It was a threat in case you took too long. Yeah. Don't hang around. SAS style, get in, get the job done, get out. You'll find every major UK city is going to be the same now. Manchester's no more dangerous than Liverpool, Birmingham, Newcastle, anywhere like that. Just what happens, isn't it? And that day London there. See, there was a big thing on the on Twitter, I think it was, because London has a Lord Mayor who is a person of colour. There seem to be a lot of people on him all the time about knife crime in London. It's Sadiq Khan's fault. Well, it's not his fault. It's down to the fact that the police numbers have been absolutely decimated by the government. You know, when you get rid of all these police and sort of the social side of policing, where they go into communities, all that's been decimated as well. This is what happens. And yet, if you have a look at Birmingham, it's the knife crime capital of the UK. Nothing ever gets mentioned, probably because the mayor isn't Asian. Mad, isn't it? Steve, your father-in-law was from Govan. Oh, don't annoy him, that's all I'd say. My dad's mate's from Govan as well, actually. It was the Govan or the Gorbals, sorry. One or the other. Actually, it was the Gorbals, not Govan, I apologise. Some rough places up there as well, but I always find, like I said before, Liverpool, Belfast and Glasgow I found to be really similar, and Newcastle as well to a certain degree, because they're all shipbuilding or ports. It's similar kind of people, same kind of sense of humour. You can't work on a dock or shipbuilding and not have that same kind of piss taking. It happens to all of us. That's the reason why Liverpool's got a reputation for being a place of comedians or where everyone's funny, because you have to be. It's just that kind of city. It's no different at all. Belfast's the same, Glasgow's the same. So when I went to those two places especially, I just felt like I feel at home. This feels normal. It looks quite similar. The people sound the same if the accents are slightly different. It's I loved it. I felt at home straight away. Yeah, the hillbillies can't stand slow shoppers getting it out. I can't either. I mean, I've just been to the Tesco on the way back home from dropping Jess off, and I get not trolley rage but basket rage in Tesco because I want to smash the shite out of people in front of me. I'm not walking great anyway after the stroke, but I am walking, and they're still slowing me down to the point where I feel like I'm going to fall over. You hate shopping, you don't dawdle, Louise. Good. Dawdling is awful. And in Tesco and places like that, any supermarket, there should be a slow aisle. There should be a fast aisle. And then all the slow people, if you want to take your time, go over there. We're going this way. Saf, your local police station got robbed and guns were stolen. Man. Steve, I don't hate all your English. What I hate is the establishment and the people in charge. Absolutely despise them. Which obviously, because they tried to put Liverpool into managed decline, they were quite happy to let an entire city go bankrupt and the people suffer just because we don't vote Conservative. And then Hills were after that as well. Just never trust the establishment. They've got nobody's interests at heart but their own. As you avoid the city centre as much as possible. Jeez. Seen a guy pull a 2-foot machete out of his jacket over a lighter. Nah. I think I'll be swerving that as well. Quite happy with the fact that Liverpool can be rough, Liverpool city centre. There's a little bit of knife crime going on. That's normally kids doing it, which it needs to stop. It really does need to stop. But overall, don't really see much trouble in the Liverpool city centre. You do occasionally because people are absolutely off the trolleys with the marching powder that comes from South America, but it's nowhere near as bad as other places. Everyone seems to be fairly chilled. Yeah, not seen any machetes yet. Yet. Mind you, I haven't been out for a while, have I? Yeah, the CCTV all over the UK, and people just don't care. You see, if there's people getting caught on camera doing this constantly, they're not bothered in the slightest. If you've got nothing to hide, the problem is nowadays you don't need anything to hide. There's trouble waiting around the corner in the form of police. Always there when you don't need to be, never there when you need to be. And I know quite a few coppers as well. I think they'd much rather be doing the job properly and given the resources. Everyone seems to be struggling, I think. Well, everyone seems to be struggling apart from the people whose hand goes in the pocket and goes straight into the coffers for the party in charge. Seen that today with the post office. Privatised post office that we sold for about 20 quid and was worth billions 2 days later. It's been privatised to increase efficiency. So they're increasing efficiency by going to 3 days a week. So the service is getting cut to ribbons, but they're still all getting the bonuses. Anything in this country that's privatised has gone worse. That's why we've got 24 hours a day of shit being poured into rivers. I live on the coast, certainly wouldn't go swimming in it, not a chance. What's happening with the chat? Come on, come through. I have to refresh this. I think my stream chat has stopped. Yeah. Just refresh that and see what comes up. Steve, you live in North Norfolk. There's about 3 coppers covering the whole area. It's just police have been absolutely cut to the bone, and then they start moaning about stuff that's happening. If you want to avoid stuff from happening, have police, have community officers actually going into the community. Like all that stuff with Samina Begum, is it? The jihadi. Make us stateless. Don't make us stateless. That's just stupid. Do it once, then you can do it to anyone. Anyone that you don't like, just let them go away on holiday and revoke their citizenship. She was groomed in the UK, made a fanatical lunatic in the UK. We should deal with it because we're not. The people who groomed her and turned her into what she is are still here. The issue's still here. You may have pulled a tooth, but the fucking head is still here. You know what I mean? As you don't know any coppers, but you're related to a solicitor. Sounds very, very wise. I just know quite a few busies because of our Sunday League football team. Had a few of them in there. Decent lads as well, actually. But again, better off knowing solicitors these days. Louise are getting it all delivered now. Very, 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 very smart. Until Amazon drivers start turning up with machetes and stuff. Yeah, lads, we all have plenty to hide. Luckily, the cameras are pointing the wrong way. Everyone's got something to hide, except for me and my monkey, as the Beatles once sang. Very wise, very wise. During the 2010 World Cup, you hired ADT to provide security for the police stations. That's when you know you live in a rough area. You know it's rough when you've got to drive by McDonald's, you know, where the houses go in a circle of a night. Definitely a rough place. Went to a rough pub once on the quiz night, and the first question was, who the fucking hell are you looking at? I knew it was a bad place. Kate Adie was the barmaid. They had a pig on the bar as an air freshener. Even the arms on the chairs had tattoos. The specials board was had broken leg of lamb. I was watching a fight one night and a pool match broke out. You know, all that over and over again. About 5 years ago, a group of pikeys arrived in Cromer, found out there was no coppers and started going into pubs and restaurants, stealing all the grub and alcohol. I feel sorry sometimes. That we had a load of travellers come in our pub, and you could see they just started causing one or two issues. And you think, why are you acting like this? Got talking to a few of them, they were silent, but there's always 3 or 4 involved in the party who just sitting there scratching their name into the tables while you stood watching him. Why are you doing this? Is it to get a response, is it? Do you want to kick off? Is that all this is about? If you want to fight, go and find other people and go and do it on a park somewhere. Day-to-day delivery is not a thing there unless you're in the capital. It takes 8 days minimum to send a standard letter. Have they not got drones delivering stuff yet? We got threatened with that. I want a drone delivery. I want to see how it goes. Dad jokes, yeah. Years and years of working behind the bar in a pub, you end up with these pub jokes especially, but yeah, loads of dad jokes. Anyways, last time you were in Manchester, it was you causing the problems. Kept seeing famous people and shouting their names and pointing. Don't get out much. My daughter was talking about that. She'd done the Christmas markets in Liverpool, and the only famous person she saw was Katie Price, Jordan. So I think she's trying to get into Manchester at some point to see famous people, because she's still stupid enough to think that celebrity equals something important. Despite the fact that I've told her it's not. It's not important. And if you meet famous people, sometimes they turn out to be an absolute dick. Like Duncan James from Blue. He was in Hollyoaks as well. I was on a train to London, and he was in the queue behind me as I was getting a cup of coffee, and him and his mate were acting like absolute knobheads. Then why do you just put your name on a t-shirt so people know it's you? Because that's what you were trying to do, wasn't it? Duncan. Looked like he was steadied up to bits as well. Proper juice head, man. Proper juice head. Are you in the Amazon? Do people in the Amazon get Amazon deliveries? Or is it one of those ironic facts? We don't deliver to the Amazon. Laz the Angry Blair, I like that. I get a bit like that as well at times, or I used to anyway, when I was wandering around town. Get out me fucking way, get out me way. I'm too big to be walking slowly, it doesn't work. Genuinely feel like I'm going to fall over forwards. And I've got a really long stride, so I cover the ground pretty quickly. Amazon deliveries. And it's not popular in the Netherlands. That must be one of the only places on earth, but it's not popular. Just seems to be. I don't like using it, but it's just, well, especially when I couldn't get out the house, I'd get stuff delivered to the house the following day. So it's really handy, but I'd rather not use it because Jeff the Meth is an absolute tit. Speaking of which, I haven't seen him yet. Has he popped up in the chat yet? Oh, maybe not yet. I don't know if Duncan does, to be honest with you, but he's certainly acting like one. Proper, look at me, look at me, look at me. Sit down, you whopper. Yeah, when you're 6 foot or bigger, you can't really do slow walking. Definitely not. 6'4" with long legs, definitely can't do slow walking. Even with a basket in me, one good hand. Did feel like smashing someone round the head with it earlier on, but I didn't. You know, I'm more zen than that. I'm more chilled. Managed to get out of there without getting arrested. Got myself some water. Amazon's got a major call centre in South Africa. They're trying to launch the delivery system here, but your competitors are keeping them out for now. Do that as long as you can. Competition is healthy. Don't let them just take over. Plus, they're an evil company anyway. Amazon, aren't they? You know, there's been stories of people having to wear nappies because they can't go for a pee. Pregnant women fainting and having money docked. Just so he can piss about in a knob-shaped space vehicle. Absolute tit. Don't have Uber or Lyft either. Again, be thankful. All this needs to stop. It's the homogenisation of everything that happens in the world. All your shopping will come from Amazon. Every time you need to go anywhere, it'll be Lyft or Uber. Every bit of music will sound like Ed Piss and Sheeran, because that's what Simon Cowell wants. Just have some individuality. Shop local if you can. Of course, if you shop local, there's more of that money goes back into the whole system. It trickles down. Whereas going and giving it to someone who owns a supermarket, it doesn't. It trickles offshore and doesn't get taxed. You're taking out trolleys with a basket. Brilliant. The fight back starts now. Their own fault for being in your way. I absolutely agree with that. Hate it. I also hate when you get through the well, if you go through the tills, even the self-scan, there's always some gobshite in front of you looking through the receipt. It's like, well, move over there and just stand by the wall and do it. Don't do it in front of me. I need to get out of here. Trade unions don't mess around. Good. Bring them on. Bring them on. Yep, slowly being turned into the Wall-E society. We are. We need to fight back. Lyft, yes, Haravik, it's the same sort of taxi-ish ride share as Uber. Yeah. One of those you pre-order it and you can watch it on an app when it turns up. It's all things that sounded like a good idea at the time and it really isn't. What you do need is you need your local taxi firm. People who know what they're doing. People, you know where their office is, you know exactly who it is who's dealing with you. Even though it says it on your app, this is such and such. Well, no idea, it could be anyone. You'll take off a wing mirror if you parked wrong and you're walking. Again, the fight back starts here. Just remind me if I'm in Manchester or the local environs to pull in my power fold mirrors. Dunkin' Donuts came in and thought they would rule the roost, but quietly closed down in less than a year. Good. Not enough of it. We don't need homogenisation in anything. Don't go to Costa. Don't go to Starbucks. Go to a local tea rooms or something. Speak to the people behind the counter. Go somewhere where there's 60-year-old women. Have a conversation with them. Find out what happens in the real world rather than someone with complicated ear jewellery and it takes you 10 minutes to order the coffee. If it takes you longer to actually order your coffee than does to drink it, you're doing it wrong. Speaking of coffee, if you're in the UK, check out the Charcoal Coffee Company from our mate Adam. Some fantastic stuff there. The link is in the description below. Oh, Jeff, the good thing about this storm is that it cleans all the chicken feathers and goat blood off the outside altar. That would suggest that he's got an outside and an inside altar. Jeff, you are worrying the life out of me, boy. Yeah, Walmart tried it, failed and bought Asda instead. It's exactly what they did. It just wouldn't work at all, so go in and buy something that is working. And of course, it's the Asda as well. I've had to explain this to my daughter. In Liverpool, it's known as the Asda. It's not the Tesco, it's the Asda. And also, it's not home bargains, it's home and bargain. She just can't get her head around it. So every time she complains about it, I just call her a fucking wool and we're over and done with it. I didn't see the Steve, I didn't see the Chinese people and the fella playing piano. I've seen it on YouTube, scrolling past, but I haven't actually watched it yet. I'll have to go on there. When Uber first started there in the Netherlands, regular taxi drivers would beat up the Uber drivers to scare them off. Because you had to pay thousands of euros to get a taxi permit and Uber didn't need them. That's terrible, that. You should all be on the same footing. If some of you need to pay that, all of you need to pay that. Simple as. Never seen a KFC or a Starbucks either. Think yourself quite lucky. There's something sterile about chains like that. Starbucks is one of them. I mean, obviously it doesn't pay its tax. It's famous for not doing it. But yeah, something really sterile about it. You haven't got the same kind of interaction. I know the people just doing a job behind the counter, but it's just not the same, man. Let the unions deal with it. I wish we would. Walmart didn't strike. Surprised they're not trying to sell guns over here. Well, it works where we are. Doesn't work here, mate. You don't want to be selling guns at 3 o'clock in the morning in Cheetham Hill, do you? Or in Kirkdale. Tesco comes in 2 types, yeah. The big Tesco or the little Tesco. They certainly do. And the big ones, they are massive, aren't they? When they are big, they are massive. Well, as you've levelled up to level 3, congratulations. You unlock a class feature now. You can move another 2 little bits onto the board. Yeah, Walmart tried to buy a company there, but didn't take into account that South Africa is not the United States. They never do they? They think it's going to work the same all over the place. Caused an international incident, Steve. I've definitely got to watch that now, haven't I? Definitely got to watch that. I'd wish you'd never been to a KFC and only wants to a McDonald's to get an ice cream. Again, do you know what? Think yourself quite lucky. Some people tend to rely on it, and it's not great. And I've said before in my videos, I didn't realise that a £1/4 a meal was about 56% of your recommended daily salt intake. So if you end up doing stuff like that regularly, without keeping an eye on your blood pressure, you can end up having explodey brain, like what I had. Yes, Saf Nando's is doing fantastic. Good South African company. It is loved in the UK. And there's coined that term, a cheeky Nando's, apparently. Because having a Nando's can't just be, I'm going for something to eat, it has to be cheeky. Don't know what makes it cheeky, but there you go. Yeah, as if China's laws are only mean outside China. The same with any country around the world. The US, we've had this before, haven't we, where a lot of the US people don't seem to realise that their laws only apply in the US. And I mentioned it on a stream, and I did a short on it, and people were in there going, saying I was wrong, and the First Amendment covers the entire globe, and we saved your sorry ass, and go and put on a kilt and make sausages and things. It's only when you get somewhere and you think your laws apply and the police turn up, you realise suddenly that they don't apply. Like the boxing trainer, US boxing trainer, Bomac, his name is. He come over to train Dillian White for one of his fights in the UK and got stopped at the airport for having a gun in his luggage. Well, I'm protected. No, you're not protected, mate. You're in the UK, not in the US. Stupid. Banned from Nando's. Would that be a Bando's? I've got a Bando's. Is that because the price and how much you'd spend in there? Or is it unhealthy? I've only had Nando's a couple of times. I always thought it was fairly healthy-ish. Or did you kick off in there? Was it one of those where just like falling down, I've had enough of this, I need to get out? Mandy's making a grey and yellow stripy tank top for Walter, little mini Horace. Very nice. Maybe better dressed than actual Horace. Best start, had me with let's go and check out our friend. Some Tales from the Crypt with Jeff. Jeff, let me press buttons. Ice cream time. Nothing tastes as sweet as the rendered bones of your enemies in a cone with sprinkles. Yeah, doesn't look happy. Who invented the hot dog? Look no further. Mashed hog anus in a bun. Yummy. He is built there, isn't he? Pineapple. Always pineapple. Jeff, I knew you were evil. I didn't realise you were this fucking evil. Pineapple. Absolute throbber. They found out they all live here, and the woman complaining about her rights has been sued in China on rights issues. That's the whole part of that graph, isn't it? The fuck about and find out graph. You're once blacklisted by Domino's because you wanted the delivery guy to come up to your apartment door, and he was too lazy to walk the 4 floors up. So you told me you could take it back. Is right. Deliver it or sod off. Do it right or do it shite. So the Nando's chickens went to private school and have health insurance. That's why they're so expensive. And yet we'll quite happily pay it over here, won't we? Because it's dead exotic, like, you know what I mean? Man, you're going to stop knitting in chat if people are catching up. I don't think they're catching up with you at the moment, but yeah, get on it, la. Next time you ordered, you heard that you couldn't order anymore. No, what happened? No idea what he told his boss. Probably you held him at gunpoint and things like that. You must agree on a pineapple. Pizza is a flatbread, anything goes on it. No, pineapple's evil. It's when you don't realise it's on there and bite into the bastard thing. Thought it was yellow pepper. Eesh. How mini is Mini Horace? 7 inches. Some would say that's above average. Allegedly. Sorry if I'm missing stuff in the chat, by the way. It keeps freezing and suddenly 6 million chats will come through at once. Yeah, you wanted him to deliver and he wouldn't, so you got blacklisted. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. I get slightly annoyed with delivery drivers as well, no matter what they are. They have a tendency to not want to do the job. If you don't want to do it, go and do something else. Something completely different. Like there's like 99.9% of the time in this house, there's somebody in the house because there's like 4 of us live here. I work from home, so I'm never really out. But occasionally, when I've had to take my dad to the hospital and things like that, there's been no one in. And we've got an Amazon driver who just puts the stuff on the front door, knocks, and then goes away. And I get some pretty expensive stuff delivered. I'm thinking, you just left that on the floor and walked away without anyone being in the house. You've got no idea. If you don't want to do your job, don't do it. Go and work in an office. Go and stack shelves in the Tesco or Diasda. But don't be getting pissed off if it's the job that you've chosen to do. Do it right. Stop moaning. Take it up the 4th flight of stairs because someone's paid for it. The customer's always right. Apart from when I work behind the bar, at which point it was the customer's always shite. Or is mini Horace is only 7 inches before you play with him? Is that what it is? Man, do you have the Horus model from Forge World? That's the right size for that model. Ooh, interesting. Steve, you don't have the luxury of delivery takeaways and the sticks. Yep. Again, it's not a good thing, but it's not a bad thing either, to be honest with you. The over-reliance on it at times is just gets stupid. Part of the reason why I ended up being a little bit ill. A little bit ill. You know, my brain, see? My brain's gone. Ordering stuff when Jess come round of a weekend, and then like sort of a couple of days during the week, I can't be asked cooking. I'll order something, get it delivered because it's easy. Before you know where you are, you end up getting ill. It's not good. So you have to go out and hunt your own corn cobs out in the sticks. You'll be healthier for it. Your delivery guys have to get a signature when they deliver. Sometimes they're supposed to here as well. He says the same thing. DHL just sends an email that you weren't home. Even if you just see them drive by without stopping, that happens quite a lot. Again, like Louise says, they'll send you a picture of your parcel on some random ground as proof. We don't have a porch. We've got a door, and it's got a little bit of a thing over the top of it, but it's not a porch. Expensive item left in porch. We've got a fucking porch, and there's a picture of something that I don't know where it is. It's definitely not my house. Things thrown over the back gate as well. I have to be careful because I think DHL are dropping off my camera at some point in the next 7 days-ish. Don't even know what Forge World is. Is it next to Discworld? Forge World sounds like Sheffield, doesn't it? Being the steel capital of the UK. Bird falling out of a nest. You're selling yourself here, Casper. Bidding. What happened then? Squirrel and rabbit burgers. We've already decided on here, haven't we? A squirrel tastes like chicken and nuts combined. Even the supermarket delivery guys have to get a digital signature when they deliver. That should be the same way. Everyone just at least sign something to say that you've received it. Just for an audit trail, if nothing else. Once they dumped your new lawnmower just in the middle of the street. It's just stupid, isn't it? I say, if you don't want to do the job, get another job and let someone else do it who's willing to take the things to the door, speak to the person who's behind it and go, yeah, here's what you ordered. Yeah, delivery drivers, they will. They'll throw things in the recycling bin. Say it's delivered. Expensive jewellery as well, gee. Just to save a couple of minutes. And I know they get paid on how many they can deliver during the day. So if I know something's going to arrive, I'll be waiting behind the door. And as soon as I see someone walking up the driveway, I'll open it. Thank you. And they can go off as quickly as they want. But yeah. Stupid. If you've got a porch, you can afford to get rolled. It's not a porch though. It's just a little tiny brick wall, a tiny one there, with somewhere that you can stand underneath while you're waiting to get in the house. But it's definitely not a porch. It hasn't got a door on the front of it that you can lock. Sheffield is still the steel capital of England. Very much so. Which is why the theatre where they play the World Snooker is called the Crucible. All steel related. Yours the same, is it, Louise? A note saying your parcel's in the bin. Marvellous, that, isn't it? If it's rubbish, I will put it in the bin myself. You don't need to start for me. Louise, you and Laz got the same driver. It's probably the same one everywhere. Although ours at the moment seems to be getting delivered by J Dot. With Bruce Grobbelaar's name on the side of the vans, ex-Liverpool goalkeeper. Don't know what he's got to do with them. He didn't say what baby bird yet. Like an albatross climbing out of a badger hole. Fair dues. Steel City Derby, it is, yes. It's also why a lot of the 80s electronic music had that I don't know, there's a sound to it, isn't it? It sounds very, very steely, if that makes any sense. Very industrial. Seems to suit the city quite well. Lego's trying to get off the couch. You don't trust him to get off in one piece. So you're sitting together on the floor against the couch. Ah, poor lad. How's he getting on? Is he getting any easier with it now? Poor old Lego. Horrible, that. Yeah, Human League are from Sheffield, as are Heaven 17. There was a good BBC documentary about Sheffield, about the music, some of the bands that came from there. Obviously got Def Leppard as well and Pulp. It was really interesting. Interesting to see where it came from. And again, Sheffield, it sounded a lot like what a lot of bands from Liverpool came from as well. That industrial side of things where you either, in Liverpool, you were a docker, or to escape that, you either became a musician, a footballer, or a boxer, or a comedian. In Sheffield, it was either you follow your family into working with steel, or to escape that, leave heavy industry and go and start playing industrial music instead. But really interesting. In fact, that was in the same sort of, I think there was a series they were doing about a lot of electronic music around about the same time. There's a fantastic BBC documentary about electronic music and how sort of, not dance music as such, but the electronic side of indie music started. Loads of stuff with Daniel Miller and Mute, who signed Depeche Mode, people like that. Fantastic. John Fox. Some great industrial music back then. Yeah, give him a cuddle from all of us. Poor old Lego. Just hopping around, getting slightly better. What's an improvement? Any improvement is an improvement. And hopefully we'll be running around in spring. They are very resilient animals. But here's Open East Sound. Yeah, synth pop. There's in fact, I think one of them was called Synth Britannia, if I remember rightly. Let's have a look. Yeah, Synth Britannia was a good documentary. It's well worth watching as well. Similar kind of thing. Loads of interviews with the Human League and Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark and all them lot. Fantastic stuff. I like a bit of synth pop. I'm buzzing at the moment that my daughter's getting more and more into the Smiths as well. Proper guitar music. So I'm waiting for the first little bit of Smiths music she plays for me on the guitar. Plays loads of Oasis stuff. Just trying to get her to play the Lars and the Smiths. Then I'll be a happy, happy boy. And you got a Blue Monday earworm now. Good. As earworms go, that's as good as you're going to get. Love a bit of New Order. I don't know which Danish musicians are most popular in Britain at the moment. Seems there's quite a few. I think a lot of that must have passed me by. I think a lot of music's passing me by at the moment, just in general. Don't know where people are from, or most of the music I listen to, new music at least, is either Spotify, Discover Weekly, or people who I follow on Twitter whose tastes I trust. Beyond that, it's hard to find stuff nowadays, I think. You've no idea if any Dutch musicians are popular abroad. They will be, definitely. Absolutely. There's a couple of Dutch bands, and I can't remember the names of them now, which have made their way into my Discover Weekly, and sound great. But even if they sing in Dutch, yeah, it's not a problem. I've listened to quite a few bands whose lyrics I can't understand the word of. That includes some, like Super Fairy Animals sing a lot of stuff in Welsh, and I still like it. I can't understand what they're saying, but I still like it. Gweno sings stuff in Welsh and Cornish. There's also Liz Fraser from the Cocteau Twins sings some stuff in English, and then some stuff that she just does the notes rather than words, which you can make your own words up to them at that point. But yeah, doesn't matter what the words are. You can enjoy it for what it is, for the music. Probably most will be dance music, I would have thought as well. Yeah. Check out Emma Cock. 2 Unlimited were in fact Dutch. They were from Amsterdam, I think, weren't they? I'd love to see them writing No Limits. I've got a great idea for you. Fantastic song. Just working on lyrics now. What are you up to? Well, see what you think. No, 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 no. What? Have you heard of Mo? Or Moo? Is that Moo? You want to see? Oh, you really want to see OMD in March? Good band, OMD. I like them. Definitely worth watching. Falco, yes, the Austrian geezer. He did sing in English, but he also sang some stuff in German as well. Der Kommissar is much better than Amadeus, by the way. Much better song, which I think's half English, half German. A bit like the Queen, and a bit like who else was going to say? Someone, then it's completely gone. But yeah. And everyone remembers Amadeus, but no one really remembers the Commissar. And they should. It's a great song. 2 Unlimited didn't end well though. He beat the shit out of a regular. That's not good. Never good. you don't like her, split the band up, split the relationship up and go your own way. Well, you got a number one, so they'll point to that as, it's fantastic. Well, popularity doesn't necessarily indicate quality, does it? Mr. Blobby got to number one in the UK charts, as did Clive Dunn. And Hitler was popular as well. Doesn't mean he was good. Yeah, there'll be loads of fantastic bands out there. You won't hear them on regular radio at all. You won't even hear them on like John Peel used to be fantastic because it was on normal radio. Or it was at a different time, but it was on normal radio, so you didn't have to rely on trying to find mad random stations somewhere. It was literally just Radio 1, but if you tune in at this time of the week, you will hear decent music. Don't tune in before or after because it'll just be the same chart shit. But at least you could find stuff. There will be stuff out there, but you just can't. You can't find them at all. Yes, lads, he is indeed. I see you next Tuesday for doing that. Non-English singers often have difficulties. They do, but they're still, like I say, I listen to loads of Brazilian pop music, which is a bit weird, but really good. Can't understand the word they're saying either, but it is great. Baltimore, where were they from? I remember Tarzan Boy. Yep. Always reminds me of Phoenix Nights as well. That you listen to Dad these days. I'll have to check them out. Golden Earring, yep. A famous one from back in the day. Same as Focus. Another famous one. Clive Dunn was number one this day 53 years ago. Jesus. Who was the DJ after John? Was that Anne Nightingale who's recently died, or was it what was her name? Brain's just exploded again. Van Halen were from the Netherlands, sort of. Yes, they were. But were very, very Americanised. After John Peel, was it Janice Long or Annie Nightingale? They were pretty good at what they did as well. Baltimore were Italian art. It sounds a bit Euro-popish, doesn't it? And also, while we're on the subject, Eddie Van Halen did not invent tapping, which everyone gives him credit for. It was done in the 1920s on blues songs, and Steve Hackett from Genesis was doing it in the 1970s in rock songs. So, despise this idea that he's some kind of genius. Good guitarist, but not a genius in the way they're going on about him. Terrible, terrible behaviour. Count them as Dutch. Michael Taylor, yeah. I've heard some Michael Taylor. The lad who does a little bit of DJing in Liverpool now. He does nights. He's a spoken word artist, but he also does some DJ nights. He plays loads of stuff like that. Very, very chilled vibe. Sure he's played Michael Taylor before. French dance music is shite. There's a time and place for everything, and I think the time for French dance music was 1990 and the place is France. Can't say I'm a fan either. Everyone just wanks over it because of Daft Pop getting to the top of the charts and what have you. Yeah, Janice Long. Another Scouse girl. She was, I think she followed Peely. Played a lot of good music as well. Like a bit of indie pop, definitely. Did Stevie Ray Vaughan play lead and rhythm at the same time? Still trying to work that out. it did. There's ways of doing that. There's lots of stuff that you can do on a guitar that makes you look really, really talented, but it's quite easy to do. That, not overly easy, but it can be done. Got a mate of mine who's an absolute genius with a guitar, who could play two different songs at the same time. And to this day, I still don't know how he does it in his head, but it's absolutely incredible. Sounds bloody awful, but amazing bit of technical stuff. The Peel sessions were fantastic. They really were. And bands that you'd never get into, or bands that you'd never even heard of because you weren't from the city that they were from, would suddenly have an outlet. I've still got loads of Peel sessions on vinyl. Yeah, half a Danish dance music they sing in English. They will do, specifically because at some point it could go stratospheric and make them a lot of money. English speaking language sells everywhere, not just in the UK and the US. It will sell all over the world. So if you can do that and get a decent hit, you're in for the Dwayne Eddies. Stevie Ray played the guitar like it was part of his soul. There's a few like that. Jeff Beck was like that as well. I'd rather listen to people like Jeff Beck and Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd than the likes of Yngwie Malmsteen and people who show off doing as many fast runs as they can. There's a time and place for that as well, but there's no emotion in it, it's just showing off. Same as Whitney Houston singing. Just use two syllables for one note, that's all you need to do. Yeah, a little bit of Aphex Twin, I don't mind that as well, to be honest with you lads. Rubber Johnny's a great track. I like the fact that a lot of what he does as well is deliberately done to make you think about what you're listening to. It's not just straightforward, easy stuff to listen to. You actually have to try hard to listen to it. But I do like it. Yeah, very few make it abroad. All you need is one. As long as you get one hit, and it can happen. You can see it with YouTube videos. Someone will make just a strange video that makes no sense whatsoever, and then bang, it goes viral. All of a sudden, all the other videos start getting watched. And it's the same with music. If you get one song that gets a hit, people will go back and listen to your back catalogue, even if it's bloody awful. They'll still listen to some of your stuff. You might get a few more fans as a result. I remember you were in a band, yourself and the rhythm guitarist were playing a song and the rest were playing something else. No one noticed. Just thought it was some kind of acid jazz freak out jam. Sometimes it does sound better in English, just because a lot of our rhyming words work really well together. We've got a long history of poetry and literature which you can steal bits from, and it really works well. Very, very easy on the ear. People are so used to hearing things like that. Oh yeah, that video to Window Licker. That is a heavy video, that, man. Aphex Twin, you have to listen. You have to physically, actively listen to what's going on. I don't mind that at all. I listen to things that are difficult to listen to as well, where you can't just stick it on in the background. You've got to stop doing whatever you're doing. Proper listen to what's going on. I do love all that. AFX isn't as bad, along with all the other pseudonyms. Yeah, he has got a few, hasn't he? Rebecca Black became famous from YouTube. Ren is doing it as well, isn't he? I know he had a bit of a groundswell before that, but YouTube has sent him into another level. So all it does take is just a little bit of a push, a viral video, or in the case of someone like Ren, is all the reaction channels suddenly getting onto what you're doing. That then puts it into everyone's YouTube feed, and before you know where you are. You can't speak it in rhyme for days, but many things just sound better in English. Yeah, it's quite a malleable language, isn't it? Very malleable. You can shift it round. You can bend it to your will. It's good. The English language is good for stuff like that. Yeah, not as heavy as the video for Come to Daddy. I love that song. Perfect answer to Firestarter. Definitely. Oh, we're going to have to start getting on a little bit, aren't I? Let's have a look. Jeff, let me press buttons, you half-wit.
But Kipper's Vindaloo can't be good for you.
Kippers kicks ass. Kippers
Jeff,
kicks
stop it.
ass. Kippers
Oh, I'm going to
kicks.
smack him in the mouth in a minute. Where are we? Jeff's an absolute knob, isn't he? Here we go. Person who ate too much kebab called for ambulance service in Wales. So they received calls for subjects such as missing false teeth and a hand stuck in a letterbox. The Welsh ambulance service is appealing to the public to only call for 999 if someone's seriously ill or injured. Kipper says, sheesh. Is that where we got to? That's the level we've reached, is it now, Kippers? One word answers. Sheesh. I'm not even going to give that a dad joke. That's not even worth it. You disgust me at times. You have a band, okay. Fuck off, policy car. They're only singing Afrikaans and they're doing quite well. Yeah, are the police okay with that? Do you want me to try again? I'm disgusted with him, to be honest with you. I'm supposed to do the dad jokes. We're now hoping that Horace is going to, rescue the situation today. Jeff's just evil. Kippers thinks he's some kind of sit-down comedian. Horace, we're relying on you, mate. So much of the writing from the 1800s. Must I do as well. I like anything that's well written. Something that takes care over what they write. You don't have to think about every single word. But if you put effort into what you're doing and a little bit of sort of your heart and soul into it, I love that. Although you've got to be careful doing stuff like that as well. I think I've said this before. Victoria Wood, she treads that narrow line, the same as who else is that? There's a few of them that do it, where you try so hard to make something sound naturalistic that it sounds forced and completely unnatural. If you know what I mean. Alan Bennett, sorry, I was thinking of him. Similar kind of thing where trying to make it sound exactly like someone would say when you're sitting there for 3 hours trying to decide exactly which biscuit to put in a punchline. Well, no, you're trying too hard and it comes across as you're trying too hard. But if you take a little bit of thought in what you do, it can work really well. I love writing poetry. I haven't done for a while. I need to get back on that. Saf, no worries, mate. Good to see you. Wel te rusten. Tot straks. Long day ahead tomorrow. Good luck. I miss writing poetry. Although I need something to... I used to be able to just sit down with a pen and paper and I'd write something no matter... Just bang, off it comes, there you go. And now I can't, for some reason. I need to keep on practicing. It's a muscle, isn't it, your brain? If you don't use it, you start losing it. A chocolate bourbon. That's not a bad biscuit as a punchline, but I think Victoria would always plump for something like a Garibaldi, wouldn't she? Barnsley, yes, set up an IG account so you'll see them. Mandy's got some skills when it comes to the knitted animals and knitted potatoage. I have published, I've got a little sort of a pamphlet book on Amazon for Kindle with some of my poems. But also, if you have a look on my YouTube channel, there's a playlist of poems that I've done, which is normally Kippers Vindaloo with Tim in the front and me chatting over them. So you can hear me reciting some of my poems on there as well. Some I'm very, very proud of, including Apoplectic Apathy, which is a poem done in the style of John Cooper Clarke because that's how it started off. There's a woman on my train who looks like John Cooper Clarke. I was going to point it out, but she looks like a narc. Capable of cutting with a terse remark. A woman whose bite is much worse than her bark. Goes on like that. Can't beat a chocolate hobnob. Oh, now you are talking. They are so underrated. Never get mentioned in the pantheon of biscuits, and they should do. Bourbons as well. They're the kind of biscuit that you completely forget about, and then as soon as you pick one up out the biscuit barrel, because yes, we have biscuit barrels, don't we? Think, oh, I should eat these more often, and then you forget about them, and 6 months later, these are fit. Love a chocolate hobnob, definitely love. I'm going to have to buy some of them now that you mentioned it. Ginger nuts as well. No. I like the taste of ginger. Tove Ditlevsen was the Danish writer that Meryl Streep played in the movie Out of Africa. Ah, right. I don't think I've ever seen that all the way through. I think that's one of those mad films where I've watched 10 minutes to the middle, 5 minutes at the start, and half an hour at the end, but never watched it from start to finish. I'm like that with loads of films though. I think The Usual Suspects is another one where I've seen bits of it. I've never seen it all the way through. But now I've seen the end, so it's a bit pointless, isn't it? I want to try to find Charlie Wilson's War, and I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going to keep on looking for that, Steve. I'm determined to watch that one. I will get there. I don't think Steve's dissing Mandy as much as the overall effect of the RDA chat can be a little bit over the top at times. It can be, if you don't look at it for a couple of days and go back in, it is like the Matrix. Just letters, and what has happened here? It's crazy. Everyone has a talent of some sort. They genuinely do. Some people don't know what it is. Some people have to have it wheedled out of them, but everyone's got a talent for doing something. And once you find it, if your talent is also your passion, you will go far, far in life. Which is why I love the fact that my daughter started to learn guitar. It's one of those things that if you get passionate about it and you start getting good, you don't need an amp, you don't need a drum kit to drag around with you. You can just pick a guitar up and for half an hour disappear into a different world completely. Which is, I miss that. I do miss that at the moment. I spent years not playing it because I was more interested in gaming. And then as soon as I'm not able to do it, I want to pick my guitar up and I hate it. Yeah, some films only work if you don't know the end. They genuinely do. Although I do find, even with ones that have got a really big twist and a spoiler on there, things like Inside Number 9, even know what the twist is, if I go back and watch them, I'll pick things up that I didn't see first time round, or I can then look at it from a, how do they get to that point of the twist? Think, oh, that's really interesting how they set that up, so it can be interesting going back and have a look. Got half a packet of ginger nuts in the cupboard. Get on them. Cup of tea, ginger nuts, fantastic. Can't whack it. And yet the RDA, what goes in the RDA stays in the RDA. There's a blight on your mind, Steve. Yeah, I've got it muted as well for the notifications because it's chaos. But it's interesting. Some fantastic stuff happens in there. And some lunacy. I am all for a little bit of lunacy. I need to see some movies by Ander Thomas Jensen in Danish, though, so subs are required. Hilarious stuff, definitely. Let's have a go at that. Louise, you got to the age where you forget the endings. All films are new to you. Watch Titanic. It's amazing. You won't believe what happens at the end. Let's go and check out Horace because it is getting a little bit late now, isn't it? Some Horace's haikus. I had writer's block. The words are flowing now, though. Cock it. Stopped again. To be honest, I don't know if it's a step above what Kippers has come out with myself, but at least it worked, didn't it? I'm with you on the writer's block, though. It's horrible. Nothing looks worse than a blank sheet of paper and a pen. I used to work my way through that, though. Write the first line that just comes to your mind, doesn't matter what it is. Write it down, then start writing from there downwards. Then when you finish, go back and change that first line to match what you've written. That works quite well. Titanic 2. That does exist as well, doesn't it? The Return of the Killer Titanic. Titanic 3. You know, that'd be fantastic, that one, won't it? What will that one be? The iceberg bites back or something? Well, we go flickering lights to green butchers or Adam's apples for the start. Okay, we'll look out for them as well. I need to find some stuff to watch. All I've been watching, genuinely for the last sort of, 2 weeks, has been Talking Pictures TV. All the old films. I'm starting to find that 1930s black and white films are charming and shite at the same time. And I can switch off watching them. So much better than some of the rubbish that's out there. Up to workers. The ship sinks in the middle, you can't remember the ending. It never ended well. Didn't start well. Again, never watched Titanic all the way through. How can you watch a film that's got Celine Dion warbling over the top of it? Nah, not having that. Will Hayes, yeah, I like a bit of Will Hay. Some of his stuff's fantastic. What was on? There was something on today that I watched that was interestingly awful, but I loved it. But it's a good channel, to be honest. If you have a look at some of the stuff that's on Sky Movies and that, it's just awful. It's the same things repeated. At least the old repeats that they put on Talking Pictures, you haven't seen for the last 30 or 40 years. And there are some really good films. Although there's a mad Australian horror film on last night that I couldn't watch. I put it on for 5 minutes and it was starting to knock me ill, so I thought, now I'm getting off this completely. The movie Titanic is exactly the length of time it took the actual ship to sink. Feels that way. I've seen a few films like that. I feel like it's in real time. Again, if you've got Sky, or I think it's Freeview as well, that Talking Pictures TV, there's some fantastic stuff on there, and it's on pretty much all day. So there's anything decent on tonight. Channel 328 on Sky. Right, what was on earlier on? £8 walk. Ooh, I missed that. I'll have to watch that on catch up. There were some David Niven films. The Larkins. Always good films with them in it. Rumpole of the Bailey. Some good stuff, man. Oh. Is that the show narrated by Joan Sims? Which one's that, Steve? Sorry. Some really good stuff on there, though. Proper old school. Burke's Law as well. I watched that this morning. With the most hackneyed, cliche dialogue in it. Just awful, but quite good to watch. A kids' TV channel in the evening and night, they show different shows, characters sleeping. It's kind of sweet. It sounds a bit creepy as well, but there you go. You're off to sleep, had a week. Alright, wel te rusten. Hope you sleep well. Laz, Where's Gummidge is on Talking Pictures TV of a weekend. They're repeating it from the start. So have a look on, maybe Fridays and definitely on Saturdays as well. Well worth watching. Talking Pictures. It's a channel, Steve. So there's loads of different things on there. Joan Sims films are on there as well, but I think she's been interviewed on there as well. Melvin Hayes gets his own little slot on there once a week as well to talk about some of the films that are coming up. Yeah, Where's Gummidge is on there. Quite funny as well, and quite charming. Yeah, lads, check it out, mate. Talking Pictures TV. It's on Sky on 328. I don't know what's on Freeview. It's definitely on there, but I don't know what the channel is. But some absolutely fantastic stuff on there. Loads of throwback loads of throwback TV shows and proper old school films as well. It's a programme on BBC Two, right? I know which one you mean, I can't think. Yeah, but it's a fantastic channel, well worth checking out. Especially when you're sick and tired of the same rubbish over and over again. Just to watch something from a long, long gone era is really interesting. Yeah, some of the 50s and 60s actors had really interesting lives. They did some of the ones from the 1920s and 30s did as well, to be honest. Some very, very interesting stuff. What I really like doing actually is, if I'm watching something on there, if I recognise that person's face, I'll go on IMDb and see if I can find out where they're from. What else do I know them from? Go through their history. Just seeing some of the people that I've grown up watching, all of a sudden they're in there at the age of 15, 16, mad. Your sister used to flip channels and suddenly you go, it's the masturbating frog again. She was not a child, okay. Sounds a very interesting channel, that one, though. Fatty Arbuckle, yes, a very, very interesting character, interesting backstory. People like Gloria Graham as well. Ended up in Liverpool, which is where that film comes from. Movie stars don't die in Liverpool or something like that, isn't it? Love Thy Neighbour. Right? That's the kind of thing that you wouldn't get shown on mainstream television anymore. But there's a couple of other channels. That's TV and That's TV 2, which are also, I'm sure, they'll be on Freeview and Sky. They show loads of mad stuff, 70s and 80s. Been watching lots of the Kenny Everett video television show, whatever it was. That's been on the Kenny Everett video cassette as well. Some fantastic stuff. Well, I'm starting to struggle a bit now, so I think I'm going to start bringing this to an alt. An alt with a capital A. My tea's gone freezing cold. And I'm absolutely shattered. Oh, hopefully I'll sleep tonight. It's not as windy. Not as smoking windy out there. It's not raining. The wheelie bins haven't flown down the street yet. So hopefully tonight's the night I'll sleep. So it's that time, isn't it? Thank you very much, as always. And I will try and get Sundays live scheduled as quick as possible. But until then...
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
And that's that.